sunset, I just run up this hill. All the sheep are running away from me. But yeah, sunset's fucking elite. Yo. So originally I wanted this video to be of me sitting on a chair up on this hill watching the sunset. This video signifies the start of the next chapter of my life, and I just wanted to make this video. This is my first ever video on YouTube. It's going to be raw, real. I've never filmed myself on camera before, so this definitely feels very weird, but here we are. I want to start documenting what it is that I'm doing. Tomorrow I head to Dubai to start my third company, which is a massive thing. I'm just a country boy from Barossa Valley, Angaston, South Australia. And yeah, it feels pretty crazy to say that I'm starting my third company, considering I only just started the game of business a couple of years ago when I finally decided to take the plunge. I'm 27 now, and I've been in business for about 2.5 years. And yeah, it's interesting where life takes you when you follow your passion and you follow what feels true to you. I'm a big believer that the world will look after you if you do what feels right and feels true. There's been a lot of hard times and there's been a lot of things that didn't really go right, but now I'm sort of coming to the other side of that, feeling like all of the hardships are starting to make sense. And it's funny how people say like it all makes sense looking backwards, and that's definitely the story of my life right now. Not everything, of course, and I'm very uneasy about the future. I don't know if things are going to work, but I'm optimistic, and this video is a testament to that. I'm, like I said, heading to Dubai tomorrow, and I just wanted to do, I guess, a little bit of an intro to how I got here. I originally was living in Adelaide, South Australia, in the city, living in like a dream apartment by the beach. And I was living there up until I was 25. So yeah, like I said, we're 24, 2 to 3 years ago. And I had a job that was paying $100,000. Like I was running a big restaurant or like a big hospitality venue. I dropped out of university because I felt like I didn't want the piece of paper. I wanted to go to university to learn about business or learn about certain things. My parents, I was brought up, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but my parents definitely bestowed onto me to try and go to university because neither of them had ever done it. And I guess the fact that they hadn't done it, they wanted to, I guess, live vicariously through me and get me to do it. And be the first in the family, which of course is a cool achievement. And my sister actually just finished. She's 2 years younger than me. She just finished university, which is really cool. But I've always had an inkling from my late teens, mid-teens, that I wanted to work for myself. I wanted that, I guess, freedom of choice and to try and do the thing that I wanted to do. And I also thankfully learned early on, like a few years ago now, before I started business, that if you really want to be wealthy, and there's different terms of wealth, of course, there's like relationship wealth and like family, like health is wealth too. But when it comes to financial wealth, if you really want to be wealthy, it definitely comes down to you need to own stuff. If you want to be wealthy, you need to own assets, you need to own businesses, and you need to use leverage. If you're working for the man, there's only so far you can go. Yes, there's jobs in medicine or engineering or whatever where you can make some really good money, but if you really want to make good money and not be a slave to the money, that's where you need leverage. And that's why, well, one of the core reasons why I wanted to get into business, and of course just because I wanted to do my own thing. And I think true freedom and happiness is found, people say money isn't the thing that makes you free or doesn't give you happiness, but this is going to be a controversial take, but to an extent, I feel like it definitely does when it comes to freedom. And many people would say freedom is parallel with happiness, and a lot of freedom comes from having plenty of money in the bank. Let's be real here. If you've got plenty of money and you have the resources to do what you want with who you want, whenever you want, that true freedom, you can't disagree with me to say that that's not going to bring some sort of happiness and peace of being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. So yeah, whether you think money is important or not, that's definitely something to think about and a big factor as to why I'm getting into business. Yeah, so that's sort of the backstory. I went through sort of high school, sort of knowing but not knowing, and I come from the Barossa Valley, which is very much like a bubble. My social circle, I have some really good mates that I'm not so close with anymore, simply because they're staying in our hometown and doing their own thing, which is awesome. But I think the catalyst for me to really start branching out and doing my own thing, or I guess broadening my mindset to what's possible, was when I went to Canada just out of high school. I was 18, turned 19 just before I went there, I think it was. In Australia, we stay in school or high school until 18, and then I think it was the year after that I went to Canada. Did 5 to 6 months of a working holiday, did some snowboarding, and worked in like a winery over there, just because I'm from the Barossa Valley. If you don't know the Barossa Valley, in South Australia, it's known for wine, which is why it's famous worldwide. All sorts of they export wine all over the world. So I went over. I knew someone over in Canada through some contacts that I work for here in Australia. Moved over there, and that was really where I realised, fuck, there's so much more to life than this little like couple of townships that were built up together in the little countryside that I lived in. And that's where I came back and I did uni. That was already planned all through high school. I was planning to go to uni. Came back to uni, did a few courses. I did a business degree simply because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at uni. I was like interested in a few certain things. Like I like fashion, I like architecture, I like cars. So I was interested in potentially like mechanical engineering or architecture or something along those lines, but none of it really, there was not a strong enough want there for me to go deep into that and really pursue it deeply. So I decided to just do like a general degree in business, which of course is very general, and I guess I thought at the time it would set me up with sort of the foundations I need to work out what I want to do. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, like you're a part of a business, whether you're working for someone or doing your own thing, it's a business, right? You're working for a business to try and make money. So that's how I looked at it at the time. And it was good. It was a 3-year course. I did 2 years of that. And then I sort of got to a point where I was just like, I've done all the courses that I was interested in within that, all the subjects that I was interested in, and I'm getting sick of it now. I'm just sort of like doing these filler subjects to try and get the degree, and I was getting sick of it. So I was like, I don't need this piece of paper if I'm going to work for myself. So I dropped out, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was working in hospitality the whole time through school to try and to fund school. And that was going okay. Like you make decent money doing that. Nothing special, of course, and it's very much just like a in-between job. But I was managing a couple of places, which was cool. Worked my way up to that, bartending and managing up to like 25, 30 staff, which was obviously a pretty big effort. I started making some pretty good money once I finished uni with that. But then, I just got that inkling again, like similar to when I finished uni, like this isn't for me. Like I'm meant for more. I've always had this fucking inkling from when I was young. From high school and then through university, when I moved to Adelaide, like there's more out there for me, or there's more that I could do. I'm meant to do more than this. And so I was just like, fuck this. I'm sick of just working for someone else when like I can see all these things that they could be doing better, and all this time that I could be working on my own thing rather than build someone else's business. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing my own thing. I went from living in like my dream apartment with my sister and like a couple of housemates in Adelaide right next to the beach, and moved back in with my dad in another little old town where I didn't really know anyone. And at the time, like that was extremely uncomfortable. I didn't want to move back with my dad at 25. I didn't want to move to the area that he was living in because I just didn't like it. I love the beach. But at the same time, I was leveraging the fact that, and I'm very grateful and lucky for the fact that I could live with him and move in with him and bring down my expenses to give me sort of the freedom to be able to start my own business and not have to pay rent every week and not have to have all these things that are holding me back from going all in on a business and starting something. And this is, of course, not just business. You could do this with art. You could do this with, like, if you were studying the art degree, or like sporting, like if you're an athlete, whatever it might be. For me, it's obviously business. You have to, something that I've realized is you have to really make space for all the work that's going to come with starting your own thing. You need to reduce distractions as much as fucking possible. And so that's where I started. I moved back to my dad, reduced costs, reduced expenses massively, which gave me a bit of financial freedom to be able to, obviously I had a little bit of money saved, but nothing special. $5,000-$10,000 Australian, nothing special whatsoever. But my weekly costs came down to just my food bill, and I do my part in the bills every quarter. So I pay my bills. I contribute to the household bills. But outside of that, like, I didn't really have any expenses. I paid for fuel as well for my car if I wanted to get around. So that was a massive unlock, as well as not having a job, to just fucking go all in on something. So I started a social media marketing agency. That's what I decided. I just saw a gap in the market. I did a business degree, and a lot of the business degree was marketing, just because that was what I was going to do the minor in. One of my minors was going to be marketing within that. So I was like, I know about marketing. I see this gap in the sort of market. And yeah, I went in all in on that. And the first 18 months fucking sucked, to be honest, because it was cool at the start. There was definitely that honeymoon period of sick. This is awesome. It was sort of like waves. At the start, when I first moved into my dad's place, I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. I hate it. Like, why did I move out of being in the beach? I was comfortable there. I was comfortable in my job. I was making good money. And then I've gone stepped back, one step back, I say, to take 2 steps forward. So I've taken a step back to go back to my dad's house, living with him again. Hadn't done that for years. I'd already been living out of home since I was 19, 20, something like that. Step back to live with my dad and basically block myself out of all of my social life. Didn't have a social life anymore because all my friends were in Adelaide. All my friends are busy doing stuff, partying or whatever. And I sacrificed all of that, my friendships, money that I was making from the job that I had, the location that I was in, the beach, which I loved. All of that I sacrificed to try and get ahead. So the way I looked at it was, one step back to try and get 2 steps forward and sort of break free of the typical cycle of what someone might call the matrix or the rat race. I don't like to use those terms, but it's, I guess, pretty applicable to what I'm talking about right now. So that was sort of the way that I approached it, is like giving myself time freedom, financial freedom to an extent, and then, just giving myself that space to be able to go all in on a project. And you just need to pick something. That's the other thing too, picking something to go all in on. I think from when I was in high school all the way through university, like, I'm pretty creative and I have so many ideas all the time. I can get ideas from fucking anywhere. So through that whole period, I was like, I could do this, I could do that. Like, whilst I was in uni, whilst I was in high school, whilst I was working for someone else, I was like, when I started working in hospitality, I was like, I'd love to start a cafe. And then crypto came in, and crypto was going nuts in, I think it was 2017. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to become a day trader. And then I had all these different ideas, all these different business ideas, or ways to make money, or ways to just live my life, like how I wanted my life to live. How I want to spend my time has evolved so much between when I was in high school and like to today at 27, going overseas to start my third company. Like, I couldn't have even fathomed this when I was that age. So it's pretty cool to look back and realize the fact that you just need to pick one thing that sort of fills the gaps of what you want. So the way that I looked at it for me, like, what did I want out of the thing that I decided to spend time on to start, now that I've got all this free time and space to work on something, was, I guess, my main parameters were the fact that I wanted that time freedom and to be able to work from anywhere, location freedom as well. So I wanted to be able to work from my laptop. So that means I can't do any brick and mortar business. So I couldn't start a cafe, or I couldn't start like any sort of in-person business. So I wanted to work from my laptop. Everyone knows like internet money is real now. I didn't know anyone. I honestly still to this day, I've just started meeting people in real life that actually have their own businesses. But at that point, I didn't know anyone that owned their own business in real life. I only saw all these people online. So I was like, is that even fucking real? Is it possible? You see like these few people online. It seems like it's everywhere online, but when you think about the fact that there's 8 billion people in the world, there's really not that many people that are making money online. So yeah, I was like, I'd love to work from my laptop and I'd love to have that location freedom and be able to sort of like have a business also that I can scale and automate quite easily to buy back my time. Because this business was just going to be a vehicle for me to start my like next company, which is what I'm doing now. I'm building a lifestyle brand and I'm not going to cover that in this video. We'll keep that for the future, but this first business was leading me into where I am today by just being the vehicle of like giving me that time freedom, giving me the like build up that business acumen and start learning how to run a business, how to manage people better, how to build systems, how to hire, how to scale, and how to serve customers, how to provide value to people. That's the most important thing. There's a little quote that I'm going to add in here just because it's so relevant to anyone that's building a business or building something. Instead of building it and looking for the output the whole time and like what you're going to get from it, instead try and just give all of your customers or whoever you're selling to or whoever you're helping with a service, give them as much value as possible, help them as much as possible. And with that, instead of looking internally in what I want, give your customer or whoever you're serving what they want to the best of your ability. And if you look after them, naturally everything that you've ever wanted is going to come back to you as a result. And a good example of that is simply if you serve heaps of people, heaps of customers, and you do it well, they're going to pay you well and you're going to make all the money you've ever wanted and you'll be set. So just think of it that way. Instead of like mental masturbation over, I want to buy this car, or I want to buy that house, or I want this, I want that, which is something that I've always, early on, I was always thinking about because I was coming from a place of lack. I didn't have enough of this, I didn't have enough of that. Mostly material things, I'll be honest. So yeah, that was that. And it sort of brings me to today where I got 18 months into building that first business, the social media marketing agency. The first 18 months was an absolute grind. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know if it was going to work, but I just kept going. And like I said, I didn't really have any friends or know anyone that was in the industry. So I literally just fucking glued myself to books, leveraging AI like ChatGPT and books, started reading. And yeah, from there, I sort of learned how to fix or overcome certain challenges I was facing. I just did one thing at a time and just tried to keep moving forward. And I wasn't sure where I was going or where everything was taking me, but I sort of tried to trust the process. And yeah, like I said, I didn't know anyone so that had done it before, like in person. So I just watched so many podcasts or listened to so many podcasts, and that was sort of the people that I looked up to were only online. Like I had to. I learned thankfully pretty early on in my adulthood that unless you want to be like a certain someone, don't listen. So what do I mean by that? Don't listen to anyone. Let me rephrase that. Don't listen to anyone you don't want to be like. So if someone judges you for something that you do, or they're opinionated about a certain thing, or they don't give you constructive feedback, instead they sort of judge you for whatever you're doing, but they're not in a place that you admire or respect, or you don't want to emulate the life that they're living, then why would you listen to them? If they've never gone through the thing that you are wanting to do or you are currently doing, if they've never done it, or they have no experience in it, or they might have some experience in it, but they didn't operate the way, or they didn't do it the way that you wanted to do it, why would you listen to them and let their opinions stop you? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. So that was why I just went all in on the only real like information that I absorbed was purely through podcasts and podcasters and podcast guests that I looked up to and were in the similar place where I wanted to get to. Like, they'd already overcome the challenges that I was going through. And that was I think that's a massive thing. So that got me 18 months through. And then from there, started making money, which is pretty cool. About 6 months ago, a little bit over 6 months ago, I started making a bit of money with it, which was cool. By a bit of money, it's like just started making a similar amount of money than what I did when I first left my job prior to moving back home. So wasn't making anything crazy, but the fact that I didn't have any expenses because I was still living with my dad means I was saving really well. I was saving a lot of my money, which was really cool. And the business that I chose was very automatable. So I had staff and stuff, but the costs weren't too high and there was pretty high profit margins. So that was pretty lucky. Saved a bunch of cash, and that sort of brings me to today. This video signifies the fact that I'm going all in on creating content. I'm going all in on pulling the trigger on starting my lifestyle business. I'm starting again, which feels crazy, but what else are you going to do with this life if you don't go all in on your dreams? If you don't, I'm definitely a big proponent of, and I live by the narrative of never settle. Never settle for less than you feel like you deserve, or just always chase. I'm chasing my potential and I want to see how far I can go with my potential, whether it be in business or with relationships or building a network or making money or how many people I can impact or how fit I can get. All of it. I want to optimize all of it because I think that's the game of life. It's like the real life GTA sort of thing. It's the real life Grand Theft Auto. You can't sit behind a video game all day because you'd be depressed as fuck if you're just going to level up on there. So you might as well just do it in real life. Yes, it's way harder, but there's so much fun in it. And there is a lot of lows, but there's also a lot of highs. No rain, no flowers. So I'm going all in on my dream. I hope this sort of gives you a bit of an insight on where I'm at. This is I guess, a bit of an intro video to me. I'm Wade. I'm 27 years old. Currently living with my dad, traveling out of my dad's place still. This is me admitting that I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, and I feel like this is really just the start, and I'm starting all over again. Stepping back from the business that I just started to build up and saved a bit of money with, and just putting all that money into this next business or next two businesses, using the knowledge that I've attained so far to propel these businesses to the point where I want them to be, or would like them to be. And it's about to get fucking crazy. I'm really excited. I'm fucking very nervous. Obviously, today is March 24th or 25th. And there's a lot of things going on in Dubai right now, of course, as everyone probably is aware, and it's a big risk me going over there, but at the same time, it's a necessary, educated risk. The business needs me to do this, and I'm going to document it whilst I'm over there. So if you want to tag along and see what I'm doing, it's going to be a fucking ride. I'm only just starting. I felt like I was just starting when I first moved to my dad's place 2 years ago. I got to a point in that business, built up all this momentum, and now I feel like I'm totally fucking starting again. But with that just getting started, there's so much going on. So yeah, if you want to follow along, let's see where it all goes, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm recording this voice note a week after this video was filmed, sitting in my Airbnb in Dubai, and I just wanted to say, if you watch this whole video, thank you. I hope you got something out of it. I wanted to end this by reminding anyone watching that all we really have is this one life. My biggest fear is to get to 80 years old and look back thinking I didn't make the most of the moment. And life really is just a bunch of moments, so make the most of them. The past is done. There's no point dwelling on it. The future is uncertain, so there's no point worrying about it too much. All we really know for certain is that we can be present in this very moment and make the most of the time we have right in front of us. It's the best way to build towards a successful future, and it's a sure way to look back on your past and smile without regrets. I don't know if what I'm going to do is going to work, but I also believe that if a thought or idea has been put into your mind and you can't stop thinking about it, it's a sign that you have to try. You have a responsibility to pursue it because you're thinking of it for a reason, and if it's conceivable, then it's possible. I'm trusting my vision and downing the fear, treating fear as an indicator of the path I need to take to grow and level up, not avoid. I read this quote recently and it resonates really heavily right now, and it is, if you're going to go in, go all in, or don't bother going at all. This video is a public commitment that I'm going to go all the way, and I implore you to do the same. Keep working on turning your dream into reality. I believe in you.